Today I'm going to be fixing up 2 of my tanks, and I'm actually going to be using one tank to fix the other tank. Well, it's not broken, but it just looks really bad because I've sort of been neglecting it. I've not been neglecting the fish, I've been doing water changes, but I haven't been cleaning out the algae and stuff, so it's sort of just overgrown. I've been trying to clean out the algae every now and then, but it just does not look very good right now. So because this tank does not have any plants, it builds algae really fast. It's also quite bright. The fish are currently hiding as they usually do whenever I get out the camera. Don't know where they've gone. There's Pudge hiding behind there. But yeah, just so much algae that I'm constantly trying to clean. Well, not constantly, because I've sort of stopped cleaning it because I got over having to clean it for like all the time. But I'm going to be cleaning all this algae off, and then I'm going to be doing a water change and then adding some plants in, which they will probably rip up, but some of these have managed to stay in without like being torn up. This tank doesn't look perfect. None of my tanks really look like professional aquascapes. You can see we've got some of this algae. This tank doesn't get any like that annoying, well, this algae is actually probably more annoying than the other algae because it's pretty hard to scrape off, but this doesn't have much of that soft algae because Pevy eats it all off. Bristlenoses are actually really good for, oh, he's just swimming off down there. Bristlenoses are very good for cleaning up algae, and a lot of people say like, oh, they're not your maids. Like they are actually extremely good at cleaning up algae. I actually found that this little filter sponge works really well for cleaning the algae. The tank is already, it doesn't actually scratch the tank, but it's already very scratched from, this is like a super duper old tank. It used to be my dad's. Probably got like scratched a bit transferring it and stuff, so it's already quite scratched up and stuff. But yeah, this is actually pretty good and doesn't like scratch the glass. So I've scraped out as much algae as I can without having to use like a scraper, which I don't even own one. I just use random things from my house, which works out pretty well. And I'm just water changing, and I'm all this like crap. It's really hard to get this all out because like attaches to bits of algae and attaches to rocks and stuff. There's a bunch of film in the water and stuff. And also this filter definitely needs a clean on the inside because it's full of gunk and it's not filtering the water as well as I would like it to. So yeah, that's that. Everyone's hiding. Quick lesson on how to clean a filter. So this part here is the part that you want to clean, and you just pull it out so it's all gronky and gross. These outside parts are not necessarily, I've got crap in my nail now. These outside parts are not necessarily the parts that you need to, like, are not the parts that need to really be cleaned, but they do get all gronky. I'm going to clean this after the water is less gronky. Same with this, which is always got a bunch of crap in. There's actually another thing I can pull out in there. Scrap the bucket idea, actually doing it in the sink. All this hair came out of that. It's disgusting. So yeah, I just washed this until it came out, the water came out clear. This will not rip in half. There's more in it. I think they're like bio balls, whatever they're called, in there. And then this, yeah, doesn't really need cleaning. This also doesn't really need cleaning. It's just algae, and I don't really mind that look because it sort of helps it blend in a little bit. And also I'm hopefully going to be able to cover it by plants if these fish don't ruin it. That's a little bit better, but it's still pretty strong. You can see all the debris flying around still. I don't know if it just looks like that because there's so much debris, but I've had to put it there just because of, if I put it anywhere else, it was just going to be flowing a big current and the fish would not be able to swim through it. That is coming out way too high of a speed for these fish. So I want to give an update on this little Cribensis tank. There's only one Cribensis in here because I moved the other one to another tank because they were fighting, but I love this tank. It looks, it doesn't look like absolutely perfect, but it looks very natural. Sorry, all the lighting behind me is making it crap. Hang on. Alright, so tried to fix up the lighting, but it's kind of hard because of that. That's what little video I made ages ago. But because of the light shining, because it's so elevated. But yeah, it just looks, it's just so natural. Like it's got tannins as well, so it's like got that dark tinge. The duckweed is surprisingly actually growing quite slowly. And then this filter here is providing a bit of flow over here, and then the plants sort of just stop the flow so it's not going everywhere. And then the roots of this is coming forward, so it just looks so natural. Only downside is that she's lost a little bit of color because she's in such like a dark sort of not extremely colorless, extremely like colorful and bright tank. So she's a bit of a darker color, so is the other one as well. But yeah, so she's still gorgeous. And we got like caves, crypts. I'm thinking of adding some other fish in here maybe. I'm also thinking of adding her to the big tank. because it's so much of a bigger tank, they might not fight anymore. But yeah, I'm obsessed with this tank. This is probably one of my favorite tanks, if not my favorite tank, in this room. So the tank's all cleared up and everything, and everyone's been coming out. He's hiding now because I have the camera out. I don't like how all the crap is just accumulated in the center, but whatever, they can swim around all right. It doesn't look good there, but like, it'll have to do. So this tank is all right. The plant is leaning a little bit, which might make the plants look a little bit weird, but I only want to cover up here because you can see everything on the other side. Hello. So I'm just gonna be taking some of these off and pulling apart the crypts, like maybe only getting a few crypts, because I know I have kept cichlids with crypts before. So I will be using only a few, but they do grow out and spread out along the bottom. There was only some there, and now they're spreading around there, so that's good. I've just sorted them into like different sized bunches. I've got many different sizes, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna put them randomly around the tank with like the biggest ones at the back. Got more in there too. And so we're just gonna start with this type. Yeah, there's like no sand back there. So these plants are in, they're all squiggly and weird because I replanted the ones that have been floating up there, but they will eventually straighten out, hopefully not end up like this one. And yeah, hopefully they're gonna straighten out and not be dug up. I've avoided all their normal digging areas, which is behind that piece of wood, which I originally did try until I realized it was just glass. There was no sand because they had been digging out. They like to dig behind all their caves and stuff, so I've avoided planting in those places. Next one I'm going to put in is some trimmings from this one. As you can see, it's growing up there. Some trimmings from this one and from the other big tanks I have, because this one grows up pretty big, and it grows up out of the tank, and so when it starts doing that, it starts shriveling up at the top because it gets burnt by the light and shriveled by the air. Don't mind all that, that's like algae I pulled out ages ago and just didn't throw out. I usually don't go out and buy plants because like plants are so expensive. I just grow them until they like look like that, and then I pull them all out. This tank was made entirely of clippings. The tank over there was made entirely out of clippings. So was that one, except there was two other plants. So I've just done a water change on there, and it's like absolute complete crap right now because I've kicked up all the broken down leaves and stuff. These are the clippings, and we are now going to add them. I'm sort of thinking of just wedging them behind rocks and letting them grow roots, because the fish can't dig behind them. Only problem is they have been nipping at them sometimes. Like that one's got new growth on it, but they do like to nip at the big leafed plants. But yeah, they won't be able to dig it up if I put it behind there and just wedge it behind, and same with the other one. If you dare dig this up, I'm going to eat you. I'm genuinely going to put you in the oven. So like, yep, we added these in. I love this bunch here. I'm hoping they do not rip any of these up. It's guaranteed they're gonna rip some up, especially these stem plants, before they grow roots. They might even snap them in half, but I just really want this tank to be planted. I'm just going to clean up all this. I'm going to do another water change after I've stirred everything up, because there's no point doing it now. But after I've like added all the plants, I'm going to do a water change, and I'm going to rearrange some of these rocks, take out these sticks and these leaves, because this was originally like an Amazon tank. It actually looked good when I first did it up, but it's just like after a long time, not even after a long time, like after like a few weeks, the leaves biodegrade, and the sticks get like covered in algae, and it just ends up sort of looking like this. Like a lot of that's just broken down leaves and sticks, as well as fish crap and stuff. So once I've planted everything, I'm going to rearrange the rocks, smooth out the sand, and take out some of that. Here are the little crypts that I've kidnapped. Also, I think this is a sage. I've had this for ages and it's barely been growing, probably because it's been like wedged in between like a million other crypts, or like 3 other crypts. So I think that might be a sage, but I do not know. And then I've got like 4 little crypts, with one of them is actually shooting off another one coming off of it, so that's good. And these do multiply like crazy, like crypts do grow lots, but I can't get very many because I've only been growing crypts for like a year or 2, and I have them like scattered through all other tanks, so like I can only take like 1 or 2 from each tank. I was also just looking around my room for other plants I could add, and I took out this one tiny Anubias petite. I have another one, but I'm only gonna put 1 in here in case it gets like ripped up and destroyed. This stuff grows so slowly and it stays fairly small and just grows to like multiple tiny leaves instead of growing like the other Anubias does. There are multiple Anubias species. Pretty sure I have 2 species of it. So I already know where I'm going to put this one. They also have fairly thick leaves, so it is pretty hard for them to rip them apart. Well, it's not going to be pretty hard for them to rip them apart, but harder than all the other plants to rip apart. Perfect. So yeah, I've got the crypts and this little grass, and this is not all I want to add. I'm going to, as my other tanks continue to grow, I'm going to continue to add as many plants as I possibly can without these guys destroying it, which they probably will. But if they do, I can just pull this out and add to a different tank. But they haven't done anything yet, unless he's about to go and rip something up. Yeah, this one is looking at it. And I'm hoping that they do not destroy it. I'm also thinking of maybe moving that, what's it called again, Anubias. It looks much greener on camera, but it is pretty yellow right now. I think it's being covered by moss, and the duckweed is blocking out a lot of the sunlight for it. So, well, not sunlight, just normal fake light. So I'm thinking of also moving that. The only problem is it's attached to like a log. I bought it attached to a log, so it's going to look, it's going to be hard to pull off, but also the roots may not be very big. Look at all that duckweed attached to the moss, but there are 2 little bits of the blurry camera. I have all the lights off. I think I'm gonna just cut this little piece off and leave this piece in the back. We won't be adding any moss because moss is so delicate, the fish will just rip it to pieces. So this is the amount of plants I'm going to add for this video. The next video I make, if I show this tank, it will either have half as many plants or twice as many plants, depending on what these fish feel like. But if they don't destroy the tank too much, then this, I will definitely be adding lots more. It does not look perfect. I'm not an amazing aquascaper, although I do wish to. If you want to look at like really good aquascaping inspiration, go watch MD Fish Tanks. He's like a massive inspiration for me. But yeah, this is just what I was looking at currently. All this scraggliness will grow up and become more straight. Oh yeah, I gotta vacuum all this out. I will show you guys an update once it's all clear and once I've vacuumed the floor. So like I'll see you guys in like a few hours, I guess. So it's like a few days later. And the only plants that I've actually ripped off are the ones that I did not plant behind rocks. As you can see, these ones I planted behind rocks. Those ones I covered in rocks. This one's behind rocks. That one, I don't know why that one didn't get ripped off. And then these ones, the fish just never dig. I've never seen the fish dig up crypts. The algae is growing back again. And they pulled off one of the Anubias, which I tried to replant in there multiple times. But I think we're just going to keep that one and then like leave the other one in the other tank. But yeah, I'm going to replant these in different places. So that's basically everything. I've just replanted everything. They might get rooted up again. And no, it does not look amazing. It doesn't look absolutely perfect. I'm hoping it looks amazing at some point. I am going shopping tomorrow though, so I probably will be getting more plants for this tank, more hardy ones. Like I'll probably be getting more crypts, just because I don't have enough crypts to like build a whole tank. So not perfect, but it will hopefully make the tank look less sad. These plants have straightened up as well, or at least I think. So that was all for this video. There are of course going to be lots of updates on this tank. Hopefully it's going to look better in like some future videos. There's also going to be new fish for this tank as well, so some more like cichlids and stuff. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing or just liking, and I'll see you guys in the next one.